Welcome to the Academy of General Dentistry podcast series featuring Dr. George Schmidt. Each episode features experts in the field of dentistry who share insights and inspiration to help you succeed. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. We've got another amazing program for you here as we're recording live from AGD2026 here in Las Vegas, Nevada, at another fantastic AGD scientific session. And my special guest today is Dr. Cheryl Mora from the Chicago Dental Society. Cheryl, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Really great to have you on the program. You know, we always bump into each other traveling around and we talk a lot. But there's a lot of questions that I always think of asking you, and I think would be fantastic if our audience got a little view into how this whole thing works. So Cheryl, of course, is one of the scouts, among other things, for the Chicago Dental Society, and she's instrumental in deciding and scouting and learning about what speakers that organization and others for that matter bring. So when you look at speakers and you travel around, what do you look for in a speaker?
Well, can I give you a little background about myself? So, my actual title is Director of Scientific Programs at the Chicago Dental Society. So I started this position going on my fourth year, actually. I don't know where the time went. I was in clinical practice for 32 years in Vernon Hills, Illinois. And my daughter graduated dental school and joined us, and this job opportunity came up. And as you well know, my volunteer background with AGD for 20 plus years is where I really got all the experience to do what I'm presently now doing at the Chicago Dental Society. So I'm really excited to be at AGD, and I'm really excited to talk to you about what we do at CDS.
Yeah.
So scouting. So scouting, and you know, it's an interesting thing. This is very unique to dentistry. There's no other health profession that scouts speakers the way that we do. But I also think that probably makes dental meetings a whole lot more interesting. I may be generalizing, but in any case, we like to hear our speakers. We want to know what they're going to be bringing to our meetings. So I work with a volunteer team. So I have 6 other people along with our board officers that scout. And we do mostly the larger dental meetings around the country. And in doing that, we look at different things. And of course, probably the first thing that I always look at is expertise. You know, we want to make sure that our speakers are experts in their field. But as we all well know, being an expert in the field doesn't mean you're necessarily a good educator. So there's a lot of things that also go into being a good educator. One of those, of course, is being engaging and the ability to be able to take a complex topic, break it into smaller pieces that our audience will understand. And then obviously, most importantly, they can take that information and use it on Monday morning in their practice.
So a couple of things. So first of all, how do you do all that thing? I bumped into you all over the country. How many actual trips do you make every year to do this?
Typically 7 to 8 for me. And then my committee, you know, it's funny, I don't think I've ever added it all up, but the doctors on the committee that aren't on the board, they do 4 meetings. And then the board members do probably about 10. So we do quite a bit of scouting.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. I don't think the average person that comes to a meeting realizes how much work is put into putting together a meeting, and then all the other things that go on with it. In fact, just looking for the education.
Right. Well, and we train our scouts. It's something that actually was new. I was program chair for the Chicago Dental Society meeting in 2021. That was the meeting that went virtual. And upon me taking that position and working with my predecessor, Dr. Ted Morris, we started training our scouts. So it makes everything a lot more productive, and they know what they're doing, at least to a greater extent than I think in the past. So, you know, we look at things, as I said, one of the things I always am looking at is engagement. You know, I walk in a room, and the first thing I do is look at the audience. Are they looking at the speaker? Are they looking down at their phones? Are they sleeping? Are they taking notes? Are they taking pictures? Are they asking questions? And, that little vibe right there tells me a whole lot about the speaker. And, is this somebody that is going to really bring whatever topic it is to life and make it interesting for our audience? That's the kind of, type of person that I am.
So we talk, of course, the Chicago Dental Society. The big meeting, of course, is every February. And when would that be? Chicago Midwinter, of course.
Right. So the Chicago Midwinter meeting is going to be February 25th through the 27th. It's Thursday through Saturday in 2027. Always at the Farming Place. And I've been told that we're going to have a super El Nino this year, which means it's supposed to be warmer. So we're hoping that happens. So I know everybody dreads the weather, but hopefully this year, or 27, I should say, it'll be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those members out there that are listening that haven't been to the Chicago meeting, it's an amazing meeting. So many great speakers. Cheryl, our team, does such a great job to that. So I would encourage everyone to go out there, especially with the warmer weather and the El Nino. There's no question about that. And as a matter of fact, next year, the AGD is also going to be in Chicago, July 8th through 10th, and that's going to be our 75th birthday for the AGD2026. So it is 75 years old, and we're looking forward to a huge celebration of great speakers. And that's going to be, again, July 8th through 12th in Chicago, right in Chicago. So make sure you mark it on your calendar now and join us for that. We've only got another minute or two, so let me just close with this. If one of our listeners was out there, a new speaker, and they're trying to get going, what's one or two pieces of advice you could give them to try to get their speaking career?
That's a really good question. And, it's something I've thought a lot about, too. It's, one of those things, because I want to encourage new emerging speakers. I think all of us in the meeting world are looking for that. We want our meetings to be new and fresh, and we want to give opportunities to those people. I know one of the things that I have actually looked at is having a speaking course at the Midwinter meeting that our new speakers could go to. So I am trying to work on ways of finding, coaching opportunities for our speakers, and I always encourage them to feel very comfortable talking to me or any of our scouts or any of the scouts they meet, and they should ask how they do, and get our opinions on it. We're dentists too, and we're listening, taking all that information in as well. So, they just need to get out there and ask. We'll tell them.
Feedback is always the key.
Yep.
You want to make sure that you do that, and of course, you touched on a couple of other things that are really important, like engaging your audience, and of course, you want to be knowledgeable in your content because you can't go out there and make things up, right? You got to know what you're talking about.
Right. I will say one other thing too that's really important, especially. We're CERP approved, which is through the American Dental Association, very similar to the base with AGD, is commercialism. And one of the things that I do really look for are programs that are non-commercial. It's not a good learning opportunity for our attendees if it's a sales pitch. So that's one thing I find very important, and is our speakers. A lot of them nowadays work for companies and whatnot, so, we have to have conversations to make sure that our attendees are getting very unbiased education.
So thank you for that. That's really important. And a lot of people also don't know that, that goes on behind the scenes, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cheryl, the Chicago Dental Society, and the AGD, and others that run these meetings, we want to make sure that we have unbiased opinions. And you guys do such a great job with that. Thank you for that. I also want to thank you for all your service to the AGD, as you mentioned, many years of service with us, and you're such a fantastic contributor to all the success of the AGD.
Oh,
so
thank you very much.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
It's my pleasure.
Really enjoyed having you on here, and I'd also like to thank our producer, Kristen Gover. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please email us at news@agd.org. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.